Turn my phone off. I'm pretty sure people will message me. All right. Welcome to Vlog Thursday number 224. That's a lot of numbers. Let's see. What do we have here? pfsense. What's he got in the thumbnail? Looks like a MikroTik. Yes. I just thought it looked cool to put a MikroTik in there. Because I want to do some more videos. I've been wanting... projects happen and things happen and stuff has to get done. But anyways, the MikroTik switch. This is what was in the thumbnail, the little 4-port one. And I haven't reviewed, and hold on. Oh, hold on. The camera's not focusing. The autofocus is turned off. Let me fix that real quick. MikroTik switch that we were talking about. Hey, there we go. Now I got that fancy autofocus working. But this MikroTik switch I reviewed before I still like. I want to do some budget 10 gig. Now I still have this that I haven't reviewed either, which is the 2.5 gig by TP-Link. This is going to be part of a bigger video, so I'm going to cover choices and budget switches for people. And we're starting to see a lot more 2.5 gig stuff show up on the market. So these things will come up to review again. This is still going to be a fan favorite or even a Tom favorite because it's one of the cheapest ways for home lab people at around $130 to get 4 10 gig SFP plus ports, commonly used in, when you're setting up like a storage server alongside a VM system. I mean, granted, that's a new price for this and relatively easy to configure. Someone will always like to point out the fact that there are some great deals you can find on used equipment on eBay, and absolutely you can. It's just a little bit less consistent, harder to recommend other than look for some of this used stuff. But those are Catalyst 1000 switches, is the other switches that were in the thumbnail. I've done a review of those Catalyst 1000s previously. So, you need to disable YouTube restricted to watch this video. It has some switches in here for sure. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Make the live stream chat show up over there. I think I can do that from here. Can we do this live? Can we edit this whole system live and make it work? Let's see how this will work. You guys can watch me work here in a second. We'll get this all configured. I got to connect to the studio. This will be a fun way to look at it because I'll share my screen here in a second. You can see what I see while I'm editing the back end system. So do this, change it to... All right. What do we have open here? Let's make sure I got anything that may have personal data on there. So here we'll get the cool Inception thing going. Boom! And I got to take the chat and pop it out here. So there's probably a better way to do this. I don't know that better way. So this is how Tom does it. So we take this link and we copy it. Then we switch back over here. This is the studio computer, so you're seeing it and it's seeing things, and I like that. That's silly, I know, but hey. Anyways, we got to edit on the main cam, so we switch it to main, which you guys can't see because I have to edit it over there and change the chat settings. Properties. Done. And now the chat's there. So there's this right here is what I had to edit on the main cam. But if I click on main cam to edit it, it switches the views. But yeah, that's cool. All right, that problem's fixed. So now switch back over here and we have chat. All right, cool. I can scoot over a little so I feel more centered with things. All right. Hi from Switzerland. Hi, chat. All right, lots of people in here. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. It absolutely does. Cyprus. Woo. Oh, QNAP. You mean the company that they keep, like, they just keep having more backdoors in them? So we're not sure how many backdoors are in QNAP. We at least know of 2 popular backdoors in a QNAP, so there's probably more. It's just a matter of discovering them, and maybe one day they'll not be backdoors in the QNAP, but I guess they think that's a good idea to have hard-coded. If I understand, I haven't actually read through the full write-up, but it sounds like there's another hard-coded credentials in the QNAP. So, yeah, sorry, QNAP. That seems like a terrible idea. Let's see here. Of note, though, I like to bring up the hot sauces. I'll bring it up early. This has been one of my favorite hot sauces recently for Ghost Pepper A1 is really what it tastes like. It's like A1. It's got that same kind of, that if you're familiar with the A1 sauce. I think if you're from England, the closest equivalent might be the HP sauce, which I know is not A1, but it does have a similar taste, the steak sauce. But they got ghost peppers in it, man. This thing will make your nose water. It is amazing on French fries. So that's my hot sauce recommendation for the day. Let's see, what else we have here? The spinning orbs behind you are distracting. Let's fix the spinning orbs. That I can do. I just did a video on Protect, and I forgot. I moved and unplugged them, so they're all started spinning. That's what's going on over here. The UniFi Protect did an updated video, blah, blah, blah. It's a nice system still. These things are offline. See, our effing doorbell isn't working because I unplugged it. So we got to go here to the viewport, the magic video tube, as it's been called, and we will change it to 4 main cameras. And now it's fixed. So now we're back to a normal view. So hopefully that fixes the distraction that some people had. Because you're right, it's distracting. Yes, the effing doorbell was broke. Now the effing doorbell is working. So I don't use StreamYard all the time. I like directly doing it with OBS here because StreamYard adds another layer. But if I'm doing guests, I like StreamYard because it allows me to have the guests and manage them better. It's a little bit of a challenge. If I wanted to use StreamYard here, it'd be a little bit different. I'd have to use virtual cam and a couple other things. So I haven't decided if I want to use StreamYard for that or not. The other challenge is the way I like to be able to switch screens really easy. I guess I could do all that with virtual cam and then push the StreamYard one full screen, but it also drops the resolution, I think. I'm not positive if StreamYard has the option to do 1080 yet. I think they still do things at 720. So this is the direct format, though, and this works really well when you do it direct because I'm pulling directly from OBS and using my stream key to natively do it. And that's what makes any of these type of switches really easy to go back and forth and do that. So Protect stuff's pretty cool. It's if you have a use case for it. Oh, yes. You're learning that the Arubas have some loud fans. That they do. They're made really for the back room, so. I have to pay more if you want 1080? Is that how that works? Huh. I didn't know the StreamYard. I mean, I'm paying for it. I didn't know they had another upsell to go to 1080. That's interesting. Reviewing multiple streams as an event? I don't think so. But microwave, microtick. Any good Wi-Fi APs to recommend? Yes, I'm going to go with UniFi. I think the UniFi are nice, but I don't really have a problem with the TP-Link for the home user market. Matter of fact, literally someone on the phone just minutes ago, one of our business clients, for his house, he just wants a single standalone Wi-Fi out by his dock at his house. So we recommended a TP-Link. You know, I think they're fine for that. They stand alone. He doesn't need a controller. He's not willing to change the stuff in the house because they're going through another remodel. So the TP-Link are pretty good for that. The Aruba are not bad. I see Cody in here, so he's been playing with some of these Aruba Instant Ons. I have some of these too. I'm I might reach back out to Aruba. I haven't talked to them in a little while. These work pretty good, but I don't like the way that these particular ones don't have any interface. They're locked into the cloud controller system that they have, and that's it. They don't have any other options. So that's kind of a nuisance annoyance, I guess you could say. But is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I've not played with DDWRT in a while, but that's a neat project for sure. I'm using the Streamlabs version of OBS, as I seen someone mention, because that works with this better than the other way of doing it. So, hey, awesome. Thank you very much, the Bearded IT Dad, and thank you for the Hot Sauce Fund. Ruckus is popular as well. I don't have any dislike for Ruckus. They're generally speaking kind of pricey, though. I've heard they work well. I've never really used them, so I haven't really spent any time with them. We mostly deploy here. This is going in tomorrow. Well, I don't know. Steve's on the phone, so we don't know if it's going in tomorrow. But it may go in tomorrow. You know, this is another setup that we were doing. This time it's an Untangle firewall because of some of the requirements they had, but Untangle firewall, a few 48 port switches, some UniFi access points, and you know, this is a common thing we install. The client likes the UniFi. We set up quite a few of them, so it works well. We make sure we put labels on everything. Each one's 48 PoE1, PoE2. I might do a video talking about this as a topic because I know someone asked me about, you know, the getting started with Untangle or doing an updated video on design. Like they asked me, like, what's your methods for putting VLANs together? And it's not that complicated. I think people tend to overthink it, but maybe if I put a video together, it'll make it easier. Like you just set up these ranges, throw these VLANs, and put all the devices on there, set up the phones on their own network, and away you go. But it's funny, that's I shared this on Twitter as well. This was literally this morning setting up the Untangle firewall for that. So getting that all done. Oh, let's see. Ever worked with Sophos wireless gear? Nope. And I don't really. Someone wrote me a couple paragraphs on me saying I didn't have a use case for some of them. I don't have the time to review every single product in the market. The product has to I have to have a problem that the competing product solves in some way or looks interesting enough. Someone apparently was upset, and you know, I don't let these people dwell too much in my head, but the person wrote a lot of comments on my YouTube telling me they were upset with how I don't review some of the other products that they like. And I'm like, well, you should review them, is kind of my reply. I mean, I don't, at some point there's a finite amount of time, and I dedicate it to the products I find interesting, and hopefully you find interesting as well. But no, I have not had time to test any of the Sophos stuff. And that was on the person's list of, I believe, things that they seemed a bit upset. I didn't review Sophos, and I didn't spend enough time reviewing OpenSense for them. And I'm like, then yeah. So people are weird sometimes. Those are not Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6 doesn't really matter to the clients as much as the businesses. They want stable connections, and the Wi-Fi 6 on the UniFi are somewhat unavailable. They just need the phones wandering around the office to connect. It's just, they're a cloud company, I guess you could say, because they don't even have any on-prem servers. They just do some programming in the cloud, and the Wi-Fi is for their phones, their workstations, and phones as in cell phones and personal devices, and then hardlined all the development desktops that they have. So pretty neat. Cody, you'll like Untangle. It's pretty cool. It's a nice system. Hey, thank you, William Daughtery. Much appreciated there. Let's see. Tequila would be a bad idea to have your cable modem go direct into a managed switch with a dedicated VLANs. Oh, would it be? It's a more risky proposition to take something right out of there And you can, though. It's nothing that you can't do. Remember, I've seen a lot of people do it out of convenience. The risk that you get is, one, if there was ever a flaw found in that switch that would allow them to escape that VLAN, not super likely, but I mean, just throwing it out there if that was possible. There's one scenario. The second scenario, when you plug in a cable modem directly to a switch like that, is the oops factor that comes in. And we've seen that a lot where people move something one wire over because they forgot, or if the cable people, the ISP, come out and service it, they don't realize what port they pulled it out of, so they put it in. They go, well, I don't know, it was in this switch. Was it port 2? Was it port 3? I don't remember, and just put it in. Those are the oops factors are more the risk factor, but it completely can be securely done where you take and split things off of it. We've seen a few people do that. My preference, if possible, if budget, if things are lined up rightly, is to put in, sometimes we actually have this at a client, because where the fiber comes in, instead of VLANing off something, we put it into a separate switch and then divide it up between a couple tenants that are kind of like they have a common area where one person bought the fiber, but then it runs up and over to a couple other tenants in the same area. When I just got a separate switch for it because I didn't want to create any potential problems with the client's switch that we manage. And we don't manage where the Wi-Fi goes elsewhere. So it was just like, just here we go. Here's a dumb switch, split it off. They get their public IPs. You only need one, my client, and done. It makes it simple. So it's kind of, you can do it that way. It's not too big of a deal. Hopefully that answers your question, William. Yes, the pfSense certification. So I talked to one of the marketing people over at pfSense. I do once in a while have a conversation with them. I thought it might be fun content to have me do the test on a live stream because we want to see how much Tom really knows. As I don't want to do it where anyone could say it was edited or anything like that. But I might work with them and have them like administer a test. I want to try and get maybe one of them on there. Or Dennis, if you know, is one of their marketing, does some of their social media and stuff like that, and make something kind of fun. We'll do a live stream of how much does Tom really know about pfSense, and so yeah, that's something. Yes, I'm aware that they have that out there. That's definitely pretty cool. I have not tested MinIO with S3 and Duplicati, so I'm not sure. It seems like it may work, but I've not used Duplicati in a long time, so I don't know. I do like the MinIO system. That is neat. That part I do like for S3 storage. Let's see. Scrolling down here. Yeah, I want to know how much I know and how much I've just guessed my way through. And I'm not afraid to admit, my videos are edited for accuracy and brevity. They are not there to show you how little or much Tom knows about pfSense. There are certainly pauses in videos where I had to look something up before I continued, and we just cut that part out because watching Tom Google the answer to something that he's stuck on is not good video content. Or maybe it is. It's entertainment content. It's not educational content. So it would be kind of fun to do that live where I just find out how much I know and do a big brain dump. And I think doing it on a live stream would definitely be fun. But speaking of pfSense, that is among the things I wanted to talk about today. Oh, I'll mention something else because I got it pulled up. This is another little project going on. We have the Raspberry Pi with the e-ink. I tweeted this out too, but yeah, I want to figure out a way to incorporate this into each video. So each video has like a stamp of where I was. I mean, I could do this with a screen share. That sounds boring. Holding a little Raspberry Pi that tells you exactly how many subscribers and telling you that please add to this because it makes me feel nice to have more subscribers and more views. So that might be kind of a little side project. There's some clever projects people made with larger e-ink displays. Miles had found a few of them, and they have like a whole display thing I can leave behind me, kind of a live stuff. I think e-ink displays are just, there's something cool about them, the way they look like that. So anyways, back over to the other topic here, which was this. I'm going to log into this, which is going to be the 2.6 pfSense. Now this I said this so many times now. This is the 2.6 development version. This is not for, oh, look, there's another update to it. I updated it this morning. There's another update because each dev update gets pushed. These are rapid deployment stuff. But what we have here is the system for doing, I'll pull this up here. This is the, yes, it does update in real time. So if you want to answer questions like that. But the pfSense, and I will answer your questions. You're looking to back up a pfSense box, but they have a match restore config. If you back up a pfSense box, if the network interfaces are the same, you just restore. I have a video on that topic, and you can change interfaces, and you have to do an alignment of the interface names to what you want them to be if you restore on dissimilar network interfaces. So, all right. The Wireguard is back as a package. I've tweeted this out. There's a forum post in my forums regarding this. I've been reaching out to the, I'm sponsoring the project as well. Matter of fact, let me find the forum post in a second, but they've bringing this back. Yes, it's a kernel module. It was removed from the base of pfSense and then brought back in as a project. And this is part of the project audited by Jason Domefield. And this is, let me edit this. Pretty cool the way they're doing it. It's very similar to the way it was released in pfSense, but with a little extra. For example, right here, they're calling it ton WD0 instead of dust WD0. I like the little shortcuts that he put in there. And they just take you right to the firewall rule area or right over here to this part. And it's just really slick being able to go in here and start playing with it again with a little bit of tuning. They've got, keep configuration, whether you want to hide the secrets, a few things that people had mentioned on my videos when I originally did them, which, by the way, even though it's similar, I will be redoing videos once this gets to full release. But this is a nice WireGuard project. And what we'll do here is I pull my phone up. This is all private IP, so I don't care that anyone's seen all the stuff in here. But now, my phone should connect to this. Make sure I'm on the right network. Yep. Reload this. There we go. My phone's connected to it. So there's my phone at 192.168.3.55. So it does work. It's functioning. All the details aren't finished yet. This, like I said, this is still beta, but you can see where we're getting at it. They even have my faces in the way. So let me move it. Package versions down here. So when you're looking at it, you can look at, I'll put myself over here. I don't need to be that big. There we go. You can see the package versions. It's a nice, slick system they got put together right here. I do like this, and it's coming along well. There's been a lot of updates, a lot of activity, a lot of excitement around the project, and I'm sure a lot of people will be excited about the project as I am, seeing Wireguard come back. And, this is one of those things where I'm driven nuts a little bit by people who complain too much about things and just want to dog on stuff and just, everyone wants to pile on and say, yeah, those people are terrible people, blah, 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 blah. Look at how it all got screwed up. And I like when people stop and go, all right, whatever, things happened. Let's bring it forward. How do we move forward? How do we still get a project that's a good project? How do we salvage all this, reassemble it, put it back together? And, some real initiative was taken here to make all this happen. And that to me is just exciting to see it all put together. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find real quick the forum post so I can I didn't have these links ready. I got distracted, as always, I got distracted just before we got here. So, WireGuard plugin. And we'll bring all this up here. So what we have here is, we'll go here. And this is the package, which I'm going to draw a link to over here in the stream. What they need, what you could help with. One, if you're a developer and would like to contribute to this open source project, and you can see, the commits going and read about what's going on here, how it's happening, all the details are here. And it is sponsored by Christian McDonald. So what they're looking for is the more sponsors to help. They got a goal set here. If you'd like to sponsor the project, I'm among the sponsors. Netgate is among the sponsors of the project. And, this is how you move forward. You have people who go through and contribute, whether you can contribute code, contribute a cup of coffee, or, if there's any type of documentation things you can do if you're not a developer. But I like to see this all moving forward. I think this is just really cool. And I want to really give Christian a shout out here as it's being developed. I will probably do a dedicated video just to it and show how the project's coming along. But overall, I think this is really, really a great thing. We're going to end up with, back with Wireguard. And I think it's going to be an even better project despite all the little missteps that happened before we got here. Yes, Wireguard will be dynamic just like it was. And that's the nature of Wireguard. So you can have a dynamic host on one end, as in my phone, so I can always Wireguard back into other services. And there's some cool stuff on the roadmap there that I'm hoping to see develop. So more news coming soon on all of that. But either way, yes, Wireguard is popular because of its easy, so to speak, easy. The way the ciphers work, the way the key system works on it is relatively easy compared to OpenVPN. The easiness, though, is because of the lack of different options. It's kind of a one-trick pony. It uses this cipher with this key, and that's it. But that's fine. That's what people are looking for. Because this is a kernel integration, not the Golang, there is the one used in pfsense, for people that are wondering, is written, I believe, in Go, but it's a user space module. And the problem with any user space module versus a kernel module is context switching. Context switching causes a lot of overhead. Therefore, you don't get the necessary performance you're looking for out of it. This is going to be using the kernel extensions. Therefore, it will have that full kernel speed once it's all done. So that's going to be, like I said, it's a cool project for those of you. I linked to the GitHub project. I can also, I'll drop a link to my forum post so for anyone that just wants to read through in my forums on this. But yeah, definitely really cool. Oh, look, more people going, well, they really messed up. Yeah, you're not very helpful by saying that. Really, we know they messed up. People like to... And they really messed up. If you dig into the nuance of it, it's not that I'm defending it. It's a person messed up. They kind of got screwed over by a person. They chose to develop it. It didn't look good, yeah. But that's what happens sometimes. Projects get goofed up. The way you look at it, go, all right, what are we going to do to move forward? And this is where Christian McDonald looked at it and goes, I got an idea, and ran with it versus, as a matter of fact, him suggesting that idea, I think got him downvoted, if I'm not mistaken, in Reddit. Oh, it works?
Seems to.
Oh, kick butt. Project finished. Kick butt. Kick that door closed. Oh, you like hearing me. This is the Raspberry Pi thing. So, I imagine all of you are here already subscribed to my channel, so just press the like button on this. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make that number go up. I don't know how fast it refreshes. As a matter of fact, I know I've already passed 189,000, so I know it's more than this, but boy, these e-ink displays are really cool. This thing is neat. To err as human, to be part of the solution is the goal. Yes, thank you. Like I said, I'm always, it's the same thing you do in business a lot. I mean, there's employees make mistakes. The other employees will sometimes jump on, haha, you made a mistake, and things like that. You have to stop as the business owner and go, how do we, one, maybe make a learning lesson out of this, but two, how do we move forward to reach the goal of fixing whatever thing we need to fix for the client, and then also, not have this happen again. You got to think through the process and everything else. So it's a different mindset. I try to really focus on always, what do we need to do next? I never like to sit and just complain about things, because I don't think that really does any good. I raise awareness of topics. I certainly complained about UniFi and some of their missteps they've had with security and things like that. But that's more calling out, raising awareness. What do I plan to do? Well, I also said in there how we mitigate that issue by not using their cloud system, so we kind of separate ourselves from the potential threat they created there. I'm not sure, am I saying it right? Bunzoism, Bunzoism? Anyways, do you offer MSP clients all-you-can-eat support? Do you allow clients to pick and choose whatever are covered, and does every device have to be covered whether they want to be an MSP customer or not? No, I do not do the MSP all-you-can-eat system. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I'm not saying it can't be done. My personal choice is not to do it, but other people have really found some methodologies that seem to work well for them to do it. Second, when it comes to device coverage, this is... we have a really good medical client that one of the things that they got mad at their other MSP was they forced them to only buy things from them. And they said, we want to buy something, but have you support it. Now, as long as it's on the recommended list, and part of the problem was the other MSP was marking things up ridiculous amounts. And we can support a Lenovo business class Windows 10 laptop. They just didn't want to pay through the MSP. They asked us, well, will you support it if we buy it? I'm like, well, we won't warranty it for you, but we'll load our tools and manage it for you. Absolutely. And the unwavering nature of the other MSP of only allowing the hardware to be bought from them, things like that, lost them the entire account. And it's a great account. Those people just pay the bill on time. Matter of fact, they've bought so many extra computers and bought everything else. They like buying some of the hardware themselves. I'm fine with it. I'm not going to argue with them about it. I don't have to warranty it. And it's been not a problem dealing with them. They bought more services from us over time, and that other company's not, they've been our client for now almost a year and a half or 2 years ago, they did all that switching. So we're not as hard-nosed as some of the other MSPs. We've picked up a couple clients from these MSPs who their upsell was to be very hardline with the clients. We only offer this. You can't have anything in a building not supported by us, or we don't do it. We're a little bit more flexible. We always make sure they're aware of risk. If something they don't have covered is part of a risk factor, we always make sure they're very aware of that. We can't control the risk around this because, for example, they'll say, well, can we only protect the server because that's where the data is and not the workstations? And I'm like, it's not much protection at all. Almost all the problems initiate at the workstation and potentially propagate to the server. So no, we can offer no guarantees. That's a rare, we don't really have but a couple customers that we've sold only server support for. But it happens, but we're very upfront that it needs to be a whole package on that. But if you're saying, do I have to manage every phone in the building? Do I have to manage every one-off? We have some companies that are hybrid because sections of their computers that are on separate networks we don't manage because they're used for another facet of the business, not the core of the business, and they only want to spend the money to protect the core of the business. That's a fair assessment and something we're willing to work with. Hopefully that answers your question there, sir. Sir or her, I'm not sure. I don't know but thank you very much for the $20 donation. How can I find a full course of hardware and networking course? I don't know. I guess usually it's vendor supported. So there's a lot of vendors that offer courses on their stack, so to speak. But probably a general networking degree would help you navigate learning about different network stuff. Or if you can afford buying some used equipment off eBay, that's a great way to learn all kinds of different devices. I don't know who offers it's usually the vendors offering a course on their product versus a multi-course. Because most of my learning has just been 25 plus years working in the industry and working on all this equipment. Let's see. 40. Oh, 40 to get? Yeah, 40net stuff. I have ranted about them. They've had some really egregiously bad security problems at 40net. I'm not a fan of their lax security there. When's the next home lab setup going to come out? I don't know. I got to think about what I want to do. There's very, very little at my house in terms of home lab stuff, but there might be more soon. Maybe I should do something. I mostly play with everything here, but there's occasionally things like I was debating about building a new Plex server at home and some other stuff. So maybe I'll do a couple more. Yeah, the a couple more home lab type of things. I see people still talking about 40 Yeah, 40 gape. Yeah, 40 gape. There we go. Yeah, if you look at my channel for me ranting about 40 gate, you'll find it. It's one of the only 40 gate ones that we've replaced a handful of them for people that just don't like them anymore. They have a good channel partner program. That's one of the things that keeps them very, very popular. And because people, a lot of companies with channel partner programs, that keeps their products in a lot of businesses because people make recurring revenue on the licensing fees. Meraki's an excellent example of this. Cisco's always been good at developing channel partner only programs, putting in a bunch of Cisco stuff, and you make a lot of money on the recurring license fees that may come with some of those products. So 40net has a similar program where they train you and they get you sign up as their reseller and blah, blah, blah. And that's part of the reason a lot of people start pushing it. A lot of MSPs sell by SKU like that. They just go and find a stack of products they can make commission on, and it's the only products they sell. Matter of fact, sometimes I see the other extreme. Well, I see it way too often, where the MSP tries to monetize every interaction with the client, and someone was complaining because they couldn't make enough money reselling PDF readers to their client. They're already a managed client, but they didn't like the reseller program for one of the PDF readers. I don't remember which one it was. And I'm like, really? Even the PDF reader, apparently you have to make a commission on. Some people, don't get me wrong, I'm in business to make money, but I'm not in business to nickel and dime and try to find a reseller program, even if the product's not a good fit. I've had people tell me when I've recommended Signal to clients, and I've talked about this in forums, Signal Messenger, it's great, it's secure. And people are like, does it have a reseller program? No. Well, I can't recommend anything that doesn't have a reseller program. I'm like, but it's a good, secure product. Yeah, but it doesn't have a reseller program, so why would you tell someone to use it? The mentality is some people to try to monetize every interaction between their client and the keyboard. It shows with some of those companies. They may make a lot of money, but they're usually not the ones making the customers as happy because the customer feels it too. Like everything seems to be some pushy contract or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I would say Untangle, they may not advertise much in the MSP market, but I know a lot of people in the MSP market that use Untangle. Untangle's a nice system. They got the dashboard. They have group policies you can push out. That's one of the reasons we are doing Untangle. Usually when it comes down to nice filtering and management, Untangle does a nice job of that. I know a lot of MSPs that really like Untangle. We're among them. It's another solution that we have in there where we are officially an Untangle reseller. So take that for what it's worth. Do we allow employees to take home old equipment? Yes. Usually they prefer new equipment. We let them take that home too. Yes, employees get to play with things and take home equipment. How's that? Have I ever used Ansible with UniFi? I don't know why I would use Ansible with UniFi. I guess I'd have to have a use case for it. So no, I haven't, because I don't know what I would do with it. No, I would highly recommend not adding external storage to pfSense. There's probably ways people could make that work. I think that would be a terrible idea. pfSense was not designed to be a storage server in addition to being a firewall. I'm not saying you couldn't figure out a way to make it happen. I don't think it's a great idea. So, how is my company on consulting? Answer that really quickly. Just head over to our website and there's a hire us button. Yes, we will do. We have it all. We have a whole hire us button with everything laid out and a lot of questions answered. So I don't need to repeat everything here. But yes, you can hire us for 1 hour of consulting. Gaining trust is important with customers and not just milking them. Yes, we're upfront about what we charge for things. We do charge a higher labor rate than many of our competitors, but that is actually I'm going to do a video on this topic soon. I think I still haven't had a chance to split my channel into business videos versus other side. I haven't decided how I want to handle that, but there's a way of thinking that you shouldn't overly discount to a client, because if you start doing things too cheap, you can't do them well. So we charge a pretty, little bit higher than our average market when it comes to here in the Detroit area for what we charge per hour, but people know us that we will get the job done. And because we're charging more, we're able to put the time and effort and research it takes to do that versus the person who's charging a lot less than us. There is a balance you need to keep of high quality. You buy a high-end Bentley, Mercedes, because you get this polish and fit you get with a Mercedes you don't get with some of the other vehicles, but people are very well aware of that value proposition. We try to market ourselves more like that Mercedes. I don't know that we're at the Bentley part. I like to think so though, but well, we'll say I'm a premium brand is what I'm trying to sell, or I'm really full of BS. Someone can just type that in the comments and I'll just laugh. Anyways, we really work hard to keep a very high level of service with the clients. It's one of the reasons we charge so much. But that's also how the clients know we're charging. You're charging for us for our knowledge and advice. We're not charging you to nickel and dime you on your PDF reader or try to resell you on every suggestion is not something in our back pocket that we're a reseller for. That way you're paying us for our advice and recommending a product versus always recommending a product we resell. It's a balance to keep. We deliver our services remotely, so people ask how 2020 and right coming in here to 2021 is for us. Because we do most of our work remotely, business is great. We're in that position, and we do a lot of consulting work, so that has worked out well to our favor for transitioning companies remotely, setting up more firewalls, setting up more equipment for them, and transitioning them to the cloud or however they need connectivity. Is there any way to do AT&T fiber without Double Nat? It really depends. Bridge mode is what you're looking for, but I'm sorry, some AT&T devices may not offer bridge mode. If you have one that does not, I don't have an answer for you, so no. You will be double natted because you cannot use bridge. Can you comment about MikroTik? MikroTik has a heavy learning curve, but a solid reputation in the market for once you figure out how it works. And there's always the insert joke about Latvian logic that people like to do, where there's just confusing ways they implemented things. You'll find it once you learn the hardware, it's impressive how well some of it works. One of the things that's novel about this that I'm going to do is first show you the cord not plugged in. So it's like a magic trick where I'm going to do this live. So this is a PoE. And hold on, I got to get an IP address for it real quick. I don't remember what the IP address is. I got to look it up first. If not, Learn Systems IP list. We have our lab has a bunch of stuff. So it's 205. Cool. Close that. Keep this up. Make this bigger, and then we'll share it with everybody so you guys can see. There's something I want to show you about MikroTik that's actually kind of fascinating. All right, we'll switch it here. So I know it's kind of small, but we'll listen for the click. That click was me plugging in this MikroTik. So MikroTik plugged in, and how quick is it going to boot? There we go. That's just a couple seconds. This is something really novel about the MikroTiks to me, like the way they work. Now, this is running specifically the Switch OS. Let's go ahead and open up a tab and log into it. I'm into the management tab. These things boot up and start up super fast. MikroTik is pretty lightweight. They don't have the prettiest interface. They have a very lightweight interface. I've grown to like them a bit more than I did initially, I'll admit, because I'm not afraid to admit things like this. I was a little harsh on them earlier, and I was not as much a fan of them. But now that I've used them a little bit more, I'm not an expert on MikroTik by any means, but I like it. I may order a couple more of them. And one of the things that's kind of outside of the view, I give you guys a narrow view. There's things scattered around me a bit. I want to do like a multiple VLAN video where I pass VLANs through lots of different switches, including some MikroTik, to show how the handoffs work between different devices. But my overall, for those of you looking for some budget hardware, Serve the Home has done some good videos on different MikroTik products. And I've talked to Patrick. I know him, and great person. The Patrick with Serve the Home has some good reviews on the MikroTik because, like he said, he's repeated this in his articles, write-ups on Serve the Home and videos. It's hard to beat the price to value proposition they offer with some of their devices. Like, are they going to compete with your really super high-end stuff? No, but they're budgeted to like 1/4 that price, so not bad. You can buy 2 MikroTik and still save money compared to some of the other competitors out there. Matter of fact, there is a good write-up if you go on my forums about all the MikroTik switches. Someone has posted in my forums who knows a lot more about MikroTik switches, about different revisions and certain little quirks with different models of them. It was a good write-up on there. If you go to my forums at lawrencesystem.com and search for MikroTik, you'll find some of that. Let's see. TrueNAS replication. Do you replicate from primary to on-site backup and then on-site to off-site, or primary on-site, primary direct? We replicate to 2 servers here and then out to the cloud. I don't have another FreeNAS that I'm replicating to with the ZFS replication to off-site. It goes to it's on 2 servers here. All the important stuff is on 2 servers here and then sent over the Backblaze. High-end customer wanting to buy low-end gear. Happens all the time. Remember to like and subscribe, because this man will teach you the hottest tips how to manipulate this IT stock market. Oh, if I was only... You know, there is a strategy called buying on breach. That's what I call it anyways. When a company gets breached, everyone... this is so typical of people in the IT industry. Oh, look, some company did something bad. They're never going to survive this. They're never going to make it. They're going to go out of business. This is the end of SolarWinds, blah, 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 blah. The stock went like this. Everyone got angry. You buy a bunch of it and you just ride the wave up. It takes time. It's a long game. This is not the short game. This is not your trading market. By the way, I am not someone who offers any real financial advice. Anyone who files financial advice from moron on YouTube is not wise. I do not recommend me for financial advice. I'll talk about networks all day, but anyways, IT stonks. Yes. Matter of fact, let's SolarWinds stock price. What is it? So let's look at the 6-month trend on there. It's going, but here you go. You bought on breach. December 18th. What was December 18th? Well, actually, I think December 17th. Right around there is when it got announced. And then we went all the way down to $14 a share. Now we're all the way up to $18 a share. $4 up a share. I'm willing to bet over time it'll recover back to its previous glory of 20-something dollars a share. So buy on breach, buddy. I'm not saying this is a strategy that absolutely will work, but you can play this out with more than one company, by the way, and look historically, and you'll find that there's a commonality between all of these ideas. Yes, my wife is she is a financial advisor, FA. She does work in that. She is registered, which also means I can't just buy and sell stocks. That literally I can't, because she's registered with the SEC. I have to buy them and notify any stocks or holdings that I do. I can buy crypto all day though. That's a different topic. Stonks. Buy at the dip. That's really all it is that. And then if you get into some of the crypto stuff, that's what's just really fun, because that's buying on Elon tweeting. That's all you're buying on crypto. Well, matter of fact, I have there's some crypto stuff I have, and I'm just laughing. I mean, Doge, come on, how do you go wrong with that? Hey, thank you very much for the $10 donation, Guzman. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with stuff. Yeah, crypto. Stop being part of the hardware problem. I agree. I have been asked many times to do crypto videos and things like that. I generally avoid all that because I don't want to be part of especially the Bitcoin stuff is just not environmentally sound, is the best way I can describe it. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to contribute to that issue of not being able to buy video cards. Right now, we can't buy hard drives because of the hard drive mining that's becoming popular. Hard drives are going out of stock everywhere. Yeah, I'm trying not to contribute to that in any way. I don't know. There's also, I find the technology fascinating though. Like, I love it from a technology standpoint. I don't like it from all the problems it creates standpoint. So it's not easy. Untangle versus pfSense, honest opinion. So the Untangle is thumbs up for the Sriracha cup. Hit that like button. I gotta maybe make some Sriracha themed shirts for the office for sale on our shirt thing. So I'm wearing the cat. I have a lot of these cat sick shirts in case you didn't know. These are my favorite ones. Anyways, back to first question, pfSense versus Untangle. I did a video on it. Most of the time when we recommend Untangle, it's because we're doing the filtering. So if someone goes, hey, I really want some filtering, Untangle ends up where we kind of slide over to because it has really nice dashboard, really nice filter reporting. Untangle is pretty solid for those kind of features. So the downside of Untangle is going to be it costs this much a year in licenses. There are fees attached to it. And for a lot of the home lab people, they don't like the fees. pfSense is still one of my go-to favorites. There's no fees attached to it. It has everything in it. It is a product that can really be extremely flexible. We put a lot of these in, not just people's houses, but data centers. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of neat to think you have a firewall that, yes, you can use it in your house. And I specifically, like I use it at my house. I did the whole HA proxy video on one of these. Little tiny firewalls. To think that you can run HA proxy, have automatic certificate renewal with Let's Encrypt, everything set up on here and configured as a front end for that, and a little tiny device. But all the knowledge you gained with this completely translates to using that same firewall to do something or higher end, like even doing data centers and things like that with HA and failover. We just put an HA system in for a client, you know, because they had some downtime because of a problem. They say, you know, we're just going to go HA now, so go ahead and get a replacement from a configuration failure, and boom, you know, the configuration failure still was a problem, but having the HA gives them a little bit more confidence that they'll be able to fail over things a little bit faster. So thoughts on your most popular video is how to fish a cable through the wall. That I need to do more videos on fishing cables through walls. Yes. Yes, my 16 port has wandered back into the studio here. How do I feel about Ruckus? I haven't used Ruckus. I don't have any opinion on Ruckus. They seem to be a little bit expensive. Take that for what it's worth. Yes, BGP and OSPF. A couple more things you get with these. It's amazing that they can pack all that into a small device, but yes, you can do BGP and everything with it. So doing the content is tricky for doing the wall. We built that wall though, because it's so hard to do the on-site one. So we did one here, and that video was not my most effort put into a video for sure. And I'm shocked at how well it done. I need to sit down and probably just come up with some ideas for more of those. Matter of fact, I was going to work with a couple friends I'm in Detroit area, and they're about 8 hours south of me. We had some before the events of 2020. We had really planned to hang out with them and do some demos together. I was going to film and create a bunch of content around. Never happened, but I'm coming back around on that, and I do plan to do some more content around there. I'm going to do a home one. I've already wired my house, but I want to cover how it was done. I just didn't film it. When I was moving in, I just needed everything done, and I didn't really feel like filming everything. The incident of Tom buying his house turned into Tom living in a hotel for 2 weeks until we got in the house. And the day we moved in the house, we started wiring and moved everything in. I was like, I'm not filming anything. Everything's a disaster. Now that we have the house organized and put together, I'm going to go back over how we did it and show how it can be done. So I probably will do that. So there will be some more content management on there. How to install a Poe IP camera through Brick. Oh, yes. It's not fun. You just need a hammer drill. How do you find wires that have a wall jack but don't go anywhere in the network? And no other known network areas. You rerun them. You either go up in the ceiling and start pulling, or you rerun them. Yeah, hammer drill and a masonry bit. That's how you get through the wall. That's as simple as that, folks. Hammer drill and a masonry bit. What else do we have here? Is there any way to add SSL to all internal network communications? All depends on what you're running. So yes, you can have SSL as long as you have things to support SSL. So I think you may not be asking the question in a way you want. But I will admit, tracing mystery wires, we just, at some point on that topic in general, we tell people, you can pay us a lot of labor to try to find this wire, or here's how much it is to install a new drop. They usually go with the new drop price, because if in the end I don't find a wire, or the wire was cut and has to be run a new drop anyways, you just give up. You just run a new wire, because sometimes wires go mystery places. UniFi access for private house. I have not used it enough to have confidence in it to tell you whether or not to use it at home. It looks neat. Yeah, I don't know if the person is trying to ask about VPN over SSL. Yeah. I have a video on how to encapsulate everything over pfSense over a private provider, if that's the question. HA proxy is another way to do it. I seen someone give Techno Tim a shout out. So you can add SSL if the Docker. I mean, you can add SSL to really anything. I'm assuming you mean there's all kinds of different Docker containers. And someone said Techno Tim, he does have some great videos around some of the Docker topics. How's the battery life in this Lenovo? Really good. I never measured it, but it's not a problem. Could you do a video on Let's Encrypt between front end and back end? I have that covered in pfSense. I have it covered in pfSense within my HA proxy video. I've done a dedicated video to Let's Encrypt, but I guess it kind of depends on the context. I have no idea when Snort will work on the SG3100 again. I usually use Suricata, so it's not something we really notice as much. But nonetheless, UniFi access feels like something that may be short-lived from Ubiquiti. Possibly. I don't know how I feel about it. I want to plug it back in to see what updates it has. I have it it's actually in a box behind there. There's a Frisbee in front of it right now. Bitwarden sent me a Frisbee. Cool. I like swag, but Frisbees seem like I haven't seen a Frisbee from any other vendor. So that's one of the reasons we liked it. Layer 7, no. Layer 7 filtering and visibility is a no on pfSense. That's one of the reasons I said pfSense is not great when it comes to filtering. That's where Untangle comes in. People don't like Untangle because you have to pay for the licenses, but those licenses pay for all that extra filtering that is basically a lot of data feeds. Filtering is not just filtering. Filtering is constantly having an updated feed to understand what data needs to be blocked and understanding and recognizing the data. So that's what part of what you're paying for with those fees is it goes upstream to people who categorize IP addresses and websites as to what they are. It's kind of a pain in the butt thing, but yeah. What's my thoughts on the DigitalOcean issue? That they had a breach, that they disclosed the breach, and that breaches happen. I didn't see them trying to cover it up, so I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, my thoughts on DigitalOcean. They had a breach, they announced it. That happens. I don't know why until there's a debrief. Was it something they did? Did they have a insider threat that did it? I don't know. I usually use Suricata. I just haven't used Snort. Thank you very much again for the $10 donation. It is greatly appreciated. Sir, a workaround for the US-24 Ubiquiti 24-port switch to make the fans run full-time? Not that I know of. They actually took that feature out. They used to have the ability to set the fan speed, and with one of the firmware updates, UniFi said, no, we're removing the fan speed settings. And I'm like, that's stupid. I don't know what made them do that, but I haven't checked in a long time to see if those have been brought back in the firmware. But there was a setting long ago, so if you Google the setting and want to try it again, but any of the newer firmwares I've tried it with, it hasn't worked. But there is another firmware update that I haven't loaded that just came out recently, and I don't think I have all the switches updated to it. Maybe they brought it back. What would be your go-to NAS? Would it be Unraid? No. Do you have any videos on Unraid? No, I don't use Unraid. I just don't have a use case for that. I'm a big fan of TrueNAS. TrueNAS is our go-to enterprise-grade storage system that works really, really well. The TrueNAS system has been proven reliable and solid with ZFS, and matter of fact, I have my first consulting appointment for the morning is another TrueNAS consulting job we're going to be doing. We've been doing a lot more of them lately. TrueNAS is just such a solid, reliable product overall for enterprise storage. So that's one of the reasons they're my go-to. The other thing is we do sell a lot of Synology. Synology's been a great small business solution because they have a lot of extras that Synology throws in. We've kind of settled on those two devices as a couple of our go-to storage favorites. I don't think Unraid's bad if you want to use it. I just don't have an interest in using it or a use case for it. It doesn't fill a gap I have right now. The gap it fills in the home user market, though, is Unraid does a really nice job of allowing hardware pass-through. At least that's what people told me. I don't have a need in my business clients to have hardware pass-through, or at least it hasn't really come up. So if you have a need for that, go on Raid. There's plenty of videos on it, and it's a popular project. I just don't use it. What's my internet speed? I don't know, 300 something. Ubiquiti switches versus edge switches. The Ubiquiti switches are the ones that are, well, I'm assuming you mean UniFi, because Ubiquiti makes edge, Ubiquiti makes UniFi. But if you're saying Ubiquiti, you probably mean UniFi, and UniFi switches are the ones that are part of their SDN system. The edge switches are the individually managed. They do have UNMS, but essentially they each have their own interface. I'm not sure what your question is, though. I like the cloud managed, SDN managed ones because we manage so many of them, it's easier. Nope, I don't work with InfiniBand. It's usually just network attached storage, like, 100. Well, matter of fact, I think the one tomorrow consulting is all 100 gig stuff. Can't get my TrueNAS upgrade to U3. Yes, there's a log file. Post in their forums if you can't get it to upgrade. They're really good on support forums if you're having TrueNAS upgrade problems. I very, very rarely have done any type of migrations from one to another, but it should work. You should be able to migrate them as long as the ZFS versions are compatible. That's probably the big gotcha, is whether or not they have the right ZFS version. Because if for some reason you built it on a system that has a newer version than TrueNAS, it's not going to work. But mostly, as long as it's not a newer version than what TrueNAS you're trying to import it into, you should be fine. Well, let's see. Any software used to manage multiple pfSenses in one place? Unfortunately, there is not. Thank you very much, Nedim. I'm not positive I'm saying your name right. Nedim. Thank you very much for a donation, but I'm not aware of any good ones. I know there's some company out there that offers it. I've never used them. I don't know anything about them. And tying all my pfSenses to a third-party company seems scary. So we don't really have... The only thing we do is monitor instances with Zabbix, but we don't manage them with Zabbix. We just log into them as needed. Let's see. Yeah, someone else said check the TrueNAS forums about migrations. Yes, that's a popular topic when people are moving off of other platforms and they don't want to reformat the drives. 2.5 does not have an XML API. Well, it does not have an API to control it. That's not. I don't know if they'll get to that. That's some future stuff. I know everyone would love to have a full API for things like that, but pfSense does not have an API to control it. It would be a lot of code refactoring to do that. So it doesn't. You got to remember, one challenge pfSense has is it's an older product base. So when you have something that is well built and well running, but it's also built from a long time ago, even though we're using all the modern stuff, so it's not like a security issue, reworking a framework that's built this way to a different framework that would be more, like a REST API friendly is a challenge. But someone asked earlier, and I didn't really bring it up, I have not really used their TNSR platform, but they do offer that. And if I'm not mistaken, that does have an API on there. I'm not positive, but do you use VNets or jails in TrueNAS? Not often. We don't hardly ever run, not in businesses. The people always asking about jails are home users. So we have definitely talked to small business and home users that use it, but not really anyone. All the enterprise systems never run jails. That it just doesn't come up. I mean, I'm not saying there's none out there, but from the consulting we've done, we just don't see it. But I do know there are some quirkiness that you have to deal with when there's speed limitations on them. I don't know all the workarounds. It kind of varies between network interfaces, but what happens is some of the jails with IO caging, you attach to a network interface and it slows it down and you can't get the full speed out of the jail. There's a ton of topics on it in the forums. Figuring out what combination of hardware works to not cause that problem is a challenge into itself, but not something we run into in the business side as much. I haven't looked at ipfire in a very long time. The ipfire is another firewall out there. There's nothing about it that's compelling to make me want to use it over pfSense, but it's an option. I don't know much about it. Well, I do know I somewhat agree with the product developer about Wireguard. I read he had a write-up of, kind of ranted about Wireguard, and I did a video about it, and people also didn't like me ranting about it, but I just talked about some of the things that are not in Wireguard that cause, people to, it's going to cause a slower adoption from the market because they left so much to third party in Wireguard. What's the difference between a regular LAN cable and the color ones? Colors? They're all, I'm looking to see if I have any bright colored ones. I like this orange because it's very visible. But blue, I'm not sure, which one's faster, the blue or the orange, but I think they're the same speed. I'm pretty sure. I haven't tested it to verify, but yeah, there's no difference. One of the things you do if you're setting things up though, when on a more serious note, is buying different color patch cables can be really nice. So you can identify all your PoE ports, maybe you buy a certain color for all the phone lines, certain color for all the Wi-Fi access points. I've seen a lot of nice color coding schemes when you're setting up the wiring. That makes life a lot easier from a troubleshooting standpoint because you're like, if you have to have someone unplug or trace something down, you can say, all right, we use green wire for the Wi-Fi access point, we use blue wire for the phone, we use red wire connected to any of the servers, then we have another, purple wire maybe for the computers. Kind of, it's purple does look cool too, but yeah, there's definitely reasons to use colored cables. Most of the time, though, it's just a labeling or aesthetic. We used alternating like a yellow and blue because the it was part of the theme of the color scheme they had going on there. So we've actually chose colors sometimes because of client's preference for a certain color. It doesn't always necessarily matter. Red looks the most important. Speaking cables. Oh, the flat cables. Those. Just gonna bring the whole. I'll bring the whole kit over here. The flat cables. I have a few of those, and my thoughts on the flat cables are no, don't use them. They may all be, nope, they're all missing from here. So the flat cables are not very sturdy. You use the flat cables for a little while, they seem to break randomly. They're not that sturdy. What do work really well, though, these are the thin cables. They're so thin, it doesn't want to focus on it. There you go. These thin cables work well. I haven't had any problem with these, but the flat cables, if you use them a lot, they look nice, but if you start using the flat cables a lot, they have definitely been a little bit more problematic. They just won't, they'll start getting, I don't know if it's the way they were melded together, but the problem seems to occur right where they go in. You don't see any problem with it, but you can wiggle it and the link light may go on and off. So yeah, that's, say if you don't have the flat cables already, don't buy them. The thin cables are great. I've reviewed these. If you type in like some of the Home Lab build kit stuff, I have links to all of them on my channel. I can also drop some there. How much for the shirt? Links down below to my Teespring shop. These are skinny, monoprice slim run, and we can also, I can drop a link while I'm here. Matter of fact, just so anyone wants to see it, if you go to kit.co/Lawrence Systems, you can find links to all the products we talk about, like this here. There's all those patch cables. Yeah, I'll just drop this link in the chat. Makes it easy to find. But it's kit.co/Lawrence Systems. That's where I keep all the links for all the different build stuff we do. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, they're on Amazon, and those are affiliate links, so appreciate if you click them, but oh. Yeah, you got to watch those delivery times. I imagine I didn't know Monoprice didn't ship to Europe, but there's yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some other vendor probably has that brand, so let's see here. Let's remove that person. All right. Yeah. Let's click on remove. I don't know why people come in and spam, but they like to sometimes. Makes them happy, I guess. I don't really know. What are the other things that we wanted to talk about today? We're getting down towards the end of it. All right, that user's now banned. Perfect. How did I start on YouTube? I actually started doing some pfSense videos because I was doing public speaking before I did YouTube, so this was kind of a natural evolution of things to me. Public speaking stuff turned it into, hey, where can I find this online? All right, I guess I could put this online on YouTube. And I'm like, what else can I do on YouTube? And if you check back to my earliest videos, I did a bunch of laptop repair videos. I tried a few different things before I figured out what I wanted to do on YouTube. But the ones that took off were the firewall videos. So I said, oh, okay, cool, and did some of that. So that's, you know, just one of those evolutions of things. Oh, how much comes from hot sauce? I will have to do some digging to figure that out. I don't know. It would be kind of neat. So the way Amazon affiliates work is they do break down not what you as an individual bought. It's very anonymized. They just tell me what was bought from an affiliate link. So I'll have to do a report and see how much of it was hot sauce. I think that would be very interesting, and maybe I'll have that for next blog. So I think that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, we need to update our hot sauce page. We have a few more things we need to add to that. We're always constantly got to add something, you know. It's all a work in progress. Recommendations for a laptop for programming. I won't lie, these ThinkPad laptops, they have always been good. Especially for a programmer, ThinkPad makes really nice keyboards. They've always had good key travel, and it's one of the reasons I've always favored them. I've had them for years. This is, you know, I still have my old one over here on the table too. I still like this one. We just leave it here at the studio. But on Thursdays, I bring this laptop to the studio. This is a laptop. The one I'm on right now is one. It's at home. This has kind of become the shop laptop, so I don't have to bring my laptop all the time. And it's older, and all I really do is open up web pages with it to do demos. Yeah, this is an L480 that I'm using right now. This is still, I mean, this one's a couple years old too, but I don't really have any need to replace it because it does everything I need. Longest run cable? I don't know. I am working on a cable disaster video. That is coming up. I've been really thinking about how I want to do that. I didn't want to make a video because everyone asked what's the worst job ever. And I'm like, this one job. But I also want to make it a learning lesson of how we got through that one job. And there's some really long runs in that job, but there's going to be a little bit of ranting in it because it definitely is a job that everything went wrong on. Because that happens sometimes. But it's a learning lesson. How do you mitigate the risk? Things go wrong. How do you mitigate the risk? How do you stay out of trouble? You know, I wonder if we can make this update even, like, it rounds the number. I think it'd be kind of cool if it moved. It hasn't really... I think the view count went up. I'd have to roll back it out. But while we're at it, I'm bringing this up. What I really want to bring up is go ahead and hit the like button while I'm looking at this, seeing how many people actually subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and hit the like button because there's like 314 people. Pi. There's a pi number of people on here. And there we go. Now we got some more likes. Much appreciated. Oh, now people left. They don't like when I say bash that like button. Destroy the like button. What's that guy? Can't remember his name. He says destroy it. Graham Stephan. He's got some good content on his channel. I don't watch all of it, but some of his stuff can be very interesting. Let's see. Best Netgate appliance for 1 gig forward. I mean, I'm partial to the at least a 3100 if you got 1 gig, but I probably, if you want to run any services and run more things on it, go with the 5100. But it kind of depends on budget. 5100 is nice. I got an extra one in our lab over here. We use one here. Our office is using a 5100. I like them because all the ports are individual ports. But we sell a lot of 3100s. Those are really solid too. Running behind. Your recent comments on Unraid are a bit late. Yes. So, yeah, the 5100's been a solid product for a while. I mean, like I said, that's what we use. It's tried and tested. It's been around for a while, but it's x86. It's all Intel. It's all logical ports. It doesn't have that backplane with the VLAN switching going on like the 7100 has, which the 7100 is nice, but there's an extra learning curve to figure out how that backplane works. I have a video on it. But either way, I think I definitely has no problem with a gig and definitely has no problem running a few other things on it. So Dell 710 with dual 10 gig NICs, enough for 10 gig routing. It depends what you run on it. 10 gig routing can be tricky because there's driver issues and limitations with kernels and things like that. It's not necessarily a turnkey system. I'm going to give this 10 more minutes before I wind this down because I have to do some other stuff. Probably reply to the many emails and things that are that are going to stack it up. I also got to do my accounting. It's month end. And that's one of those fun things I do once a month. I spend a couple hours making sure I know all the money that went into the business, all the money that went out of the business, and what's left over. So I have a proper profit and loss sheet. That's one of those fun business owner things I do. I am working on, though, probably still splitting the channel for those wondering, because that's why I haven't been doing any of the business videos on here. I want to do a bunch of them, but they feel off brand for my channel now because so much of my channel is more focused around doing technical stuff. The Home Lab shows that's going really well. I dive so much into network engineering. And the Home Lab show we've been diving into, we did a great episode on containers yesterday. It is a podcast at thehomelab.show if anyone wants to check that out. That's been really good. I'll pull a link up. We've kept it extremely simple. Even the website, this is not by accident. We did not want to populate it with too much stuff. So you can listen to it in here. You can download it. You can get it the RSS feed. If you want to use Apple, Google, Spotify, Blueberry, or just a raw RSS, we've got it all for you if you want to listen to some of the podcast stuff we're putting out there. We had Alex on the show last time. Alex works at Red Hat, and he knows quite a bit. He made a little website you might have heard of if you've ever dealt with Docker containers, linuxserver.io. But yes, Alex is awesome. He was a guest on the show. I just want to give a shout out for that. That show's been going really well, and yeah, I'm happy for all of you, and I think there's a good crossover audience in there for it. So it probably is on Stitcher too. So I imagine it's there. It is 5:38 here p.m. So yeah, my goal is I'm going to wind this down so till 5:45 is when I'll stop. That means I was doing this for 1 hour and a half. Don't split the channel. You feel they're intertangled. It's tough. I'm still not 100%. I keep bringing it up because I actually am looking for people to tell me whether or not I should split the channel. It's a tough question because it seems like the audience for it is different and that the Venn diagram is not quite as overlapping. A lot of people are going, I'm here for the tech content. I don't care about some of the business stuff. I mean, granted, the business stuff is obviously technically related to running a tech business. But yeah, I'm trying to just make sure I don't mess with the channel, so to speak, to where I'm not making people happy. The goal is to reach a larger audience. And if people go, I'm unsubscribing because I'm annoyed by these business videos, but other people go, hey, I would rather subscribe to a dedicated channel for this. That way people can, niche down in their own. That's why I'm thinking about doing it. But it's obviously figuring it all out, and managing 2 channels becomes its own challenge into itself. So I've been careful. Yes. Like Eric, one of my staff here said, yes, if we separated the content, it may make the algorithm happier. And very much so, like ECNIT Solutions said in here, absolutely, YouTube favors niche channels. No doubt about it. My cousin, she's been on YouTube for a long time. She's offered me a lot of counsel and advice, which I'm very grateful for because she's my cousin. But definitely, we've talked a lot about this, and niche channels do really well because people subscribe to a niche channel because they know what to expect. They have a thing they like. So if you like motorcycles and a person has a channel that's dedicated to motorcycles, you subscribe to it. But if that person wanders off the motorcycle topic and into other topics, they start talking about food, you're like, well, this person's not even good at cooking. I don't want to watch cooking. And yeah, that's part of the reason you try to keep it focused. So, oh, who is my cousin? Oh, that's a fun, who can figure out who my cousin is? That would be a fun, I should do some open source intelligence type things where people have to figure out something about that. I'll let this one go. My cousin has gone to the Snow Dogs. Her name is Jessica. So she's family-oriented channel. I don't do dog videos here for the same reason that I'm thinking about splitting business videos. She does really well with her channel because it is niche content. You know what to expect. It's going to be her and the dogs and the husband. They're going to talk about dog things and stuff. So it's a family-oriented channel. So you know what to expect. Therefore, it's easy to subscribe to your channel if that's the kind of content you're looking for. The Snow Dogs. Snoop Dogg. Oh, no, Snoop Dogg is not my cousin. Cat 6 videos. Yes. You know, I guess there are some animals in my video. So we got the Cat 6 here. Sure, what about the process of selection? Now, talking about the business videos is... that's where the split comes in. There are times when I've talked about how we thought about the project from a budget standpoint. I don't see talking about a project or why we chose certain hardware and budgeting on there as a business video. That's just a video, and that's part of the considerations when you buy hardware, or especially when you have a budget, which most people seem to have, that's not unlimited. So you don't get to buy exactly what you want. You try to fit the best bang for the buck. That's still just a review video. The business videos are where I talk deeper about like MSP, or I have a sales video. I have a video on how we get clients. How we get clients is not something that people who install network switches, there's much less crossover for that. Yeah, price for the tech is a tech video. Snoop Crimp Cat 6. Yeah. I don't know. I've done UniFi and pfSense videos. I will probably do a UniFi and TP-Link video, though, soon, before I go back to doing some UniFi pfSense ones. I think enough home users seem to be looking for the TP-Link stuff. I might do that first. I have done a radius authentication video with pfSense. I have not done a radius authentication video with Wi-Fi and UniFi. So yeah, eventually maybe I'll do that. It is going to be a more technical dive, though. But I like those. It's just a matter of finding time to do it. Yeah, 802X is overlooked. You're probably right. It's probably worth doing a video on. It's, what was I going to say here? TP-Link, ew. Hey, I've said I have my reservations about TP-Link, but people really like it because they like cheap hardware. So the downside of TP-Link is no bug bounty program, Telnet enabled. I mean, I covered the issues. There's not any known backdoors or vulnerabilities, but there are certain limitations on there. So someone else asking about MikroTik devices. Yes, I like them. Yes, I have one in my hand right here. I've reviewed them before on the channel. We talked about them earlier in the video. I don't know why UniFi would be dropping only Android phones. Not something I've run into, but anything's possible with a weirdly configured system. I don't know. Instant On, I don't think, is in the same category as TP-Link. TP-Link is cheaper than UniFi. Instant On is cloud locked, well, except for certain models, as someone will point out that some do have a web interface on them. But I'm going to do probably some comparison videos on them again. I don't know, though. I'm not a big fan of the way like this one here specifically, Instant On, and I've done a video on these, that they cloud lock you, that you have to use their cloud. That's it. That's the rules. Yeah. Instant On is probably more enterprise than UniFi, so yeah. Tom has to do a video on why he doesn't do OpenSense. Not really. I don't know if I need to do a video on that, but nonetheless. Yeah, people bring up the same topics a lot. But nonetheless, thank you all for joining in. Thank you for liking my Sriracha cup. Thank you for 192 likes and some donations. So much appreciated. Go check out that Wireguard project. I talked about it. It's on my forums. Follow me on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter if you got questions, comments, concerns. Interact with us on our forums at forums.lawrencesystems.com. And I think that's it. I'm going to go do something, something accounting, something chill out, go home, all that fun stuff. All right. Take care, folks.